South Beach is crowded this Memorial Day weekend with a throng of people relaxing, partying under the watchful eye of a big police presence.
Miami Beach first became an annual Memorial Day destination 20 years ago this weekend when 250,000 people followed parties by some of the biggest names in hip-hop and took the city completely by surprise. And two people who were there from the beginning are here with us today. Michael Grieco is a state representative, though more significant for this discussion, a former Miami Beach commissioner who bucked a lot of blowback when he first proposed an Air and Sea show for this weekend. Josh Wallack is the chief operating officer of Mango's Tropical Cafe. His family has owned and operated that Ocean Drive party landmark for 3 decades. So great to see you both.
Michael, Josh, welcome. We're glad to see you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Great. Josh Wallack, let me begin by asking you, Mango's is a kind of a iconic spot there on Ocean Drive, and I would say I have been there on occasion and enjoyed a drink and a meal. It's quite a special place full of energy. Describe what has this weekend been like at Mango's?
Well, thank you very much, Michael, and great to see you, and happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. This weekend has been actually, very sad, obviously, in the county with the shootings that we talked about earlier. But as far as Miami Beach goes, we're in, I believe, the 4th year of now the Hyundai Air and Sea show. And this type of diverse, multi-dimensional programming has done wonders for Memorial Day weekend. For 15 years, we turned the city into basically almost like a jail with just nothing going on, and people just shoved onto Ocean Drive with nothing to do. And that's kind of what played out over spring break. Now we have this incredible Air and Sea show. We have people from their rooftops watching our men and women in uniform fly by. So it's really changed. It's really become more diverse. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful weekend on Ocean Drive.
All right, so let's talk about the Air and Sea show as we watch a little bit of it right now. Really popular event. Michael Grieco, and you were a commissioner. This was kind of your idea for the reasons, if we remember correctly, that it had gotten so out of hand. We were looking for alternative programming, and you took a lot of heat for that alternative programming, almost as a, my words, not anyone else's words, a whitewash of programming that you might have decided to offer for the diverse crowd that was already there.
So, we're going back a few years now, and this really applies to all kind of high impact weekends in the city of Miami Beach. But Memorial Day in particular, we were looking at numbers somewhere between 700 and 1,000 arrests, depending on the year. And all of these impact weekends, the problem is that there was no program. You said alternate programming. There was no programming. And when you have no programming, the default turns into a street party where people are drinking all day, all night, and that just leads to chaos. There was really no plan traffic-wise. There was no plan for the nightclubs, for the streets. So creating, a family-friendly event that both catered to guests, but more importantly, catered to the residents. You had people who would just flee the city when we would be, just filled 250,000 people at a time, and you don't feel safe in your own home just because it's just too many people. It's like a big nightclub. Miami Beach is only, half a mile wide. It's only a few miles long. We have a topography issue. You can't squeeze that many people in. So we went from 1 year, we had 700 arrests. We put the Air and Sea show in, and I think we had 70 arrests that first year that we had the Air and Sea show in 2017. So it continues to grow, and it continues to be a successful event. I'm proud to say that this was my baby, and I think that the overwhelming response has been a positive one.
Yeah, well, I think indisputably the Air and Sea show, particularly this weekend, has been so welcome. It's been a hit. The weather has been great, of course, and all of that has helped. Josh Wallack, do you think that as opposed to spring break, where we saw lots of bad behavior and unlawful acts and kind of rioting in the streets, do you think that maybe the answer to that is some kind of city-sponsored event where people just don't have to go out and, drink and get crazy?
Michael, you just hit it on the head. Look at all the Super Bowls and the BCS title games, Art Basel, the Air and Sea Show. This is exactly what Miami Beach has needed for years. Up until, I think, 2013, we had two people in the city administration, Graham Winnick and Max Sklar, that were in charge of programming Loomis Park, programming the city of Miami Beach for events like we have on peak weekends. And I will say something else, March, where we talk about that everybody is dreading now. My God, March is our season. That is the best month of the year. When the heck did we lose March? We should be dreading September, not March.
So I can sort of answer that, because alluding to the beginning of this segment, 20 years ago, when this hip hop party nation descended on parties and organized, when I say organized by promoters, not by the city, and the city was taken off guard, that was kind of the inception of this great big party weekend on Memorial Day. And you can't ignore the conversations that we've had right here on this program with this community's African American community. And I want to bring up our friend Luther Campbell, who is a concert promoter who was there then, who has been kind of counseling and advising kind of programming to cater to the people who have come for these hip hop parties. But he's been largely ignored by the city, and I don't say that as a pejorative, I say that just as a fact. So Michael Grieco, where has the appetite been for that, to sort of say, hey, welcome, here's what we're going to do for you?
So the origination of Urban Beach Weekend was a very positive one. It was based on the fashion industry. It was based upon a lot of the historically Black colleges. But over the years, it kind of turned into something where it was promoter based, and it wasn't promoter based where there was any sort of city sponsoring, where there was any sort of permitting, and it was just kind of chaos, and folks would drive in from multiple states. And it just became, the crowds just became too large, and it unfortunately attracted an element that was just coming into the city to essentially prey upon the folks who are coming here to have a good time and to do it responsibly. And so when we brought in the air show, the air show it's family friendly. The military it welcomes all colors. It represents all walks of life. And it's been a hit across the board: white, Black, young and old, resident guests. That was the one thing that you could try to paint it whatever you want to paint it, but at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. There has been an exponential decrease in crime. It's made our law enforcement community made their jobs easier, and there has been an insertion of different kind of collateral events, but we're very happy with the result of it. And like Josh said, I think that we need to be looking at high impact weekends and figuring out other like events to make sure that our guests and our residents are adequately entertained and safely so.
All right, Mike Grieco, Josh Wallack, hold your places. We're going to come back, talk a little bit more about Memorial Day weekend on South Beach. Stay with us.
We are back with State Rep Michael Grieco, former Miami Beach Commissioner, and Josh Wallack, whose family owns landmark Mango's Tropical Cafe on Ocean Drive, talking all things Memorial Day. Josh, the big news is the Beach Commission, Beach's mayor, trying to redo the whole culture of the entertainment district. And the first concrete step they've taken was rolling back the last call for alcohol from 5 a.m. to 2 a.m. That 3 hours, a big business couple of hours at Mango's, no doubt. And you all filed suit. And so talk a little bit about why that might not be such a good idea for you, and the whole plan to redo the entertainment district as more of a cultural destination rather as a party destination.
Well, actually, the Clevelander, our neighbor, filed suit with Alexander Tatchmas and Kendall Coffey. We are just sort of going along for the ride. We're not involved in the suit itself. But as of right now, what we're looking at is, or what they're looking at is, an injunction hearing next Monday, because this whole thing, the 2 a.m. that everybody's talking about, is only 10 blocks on 2 streets You can have a mega club, Glenna, at 9th and Washington right now. They just opened the Good Time Hotel. They have Story nightclub on 2nd and Collins. All of these are out of the prohibition zone, okay? They have spot zoned, again, 2 streets, Collins and Ocean, for this prohibition. And what the injunction would be that because this is a land use matter, a spot zoning matter, the city needed 5 out of 7 commissioners, not 4-3. So we're looking to see if the court agrees, the Cleveland, and they're going to overturn this as an illegal law.
So you're talking about sort of a target issue rather than a conceptual issue. What do you think of the concept of making the entertainment district more of a cultural destination and less a raucous party destination?
Well, I think it's been a cultural destination with the Art Deco architecture. It's got incredible vistas. It's got incredible buildings, incredible park, the ocean. Everything's already there. Simply because you have a couple of places like Mango's and the Clevelander on Ocean Drive, those places have been there for 30 years and have been part of the renaissance of Miami Beach all these years. Will Smith, hottest club in the city, and it's right on the beach. Talking about Mango's, okay? The entire world dreams of seeing celebrities in Ferraris on Ocean Drive. Yeah, so there's that.
You know, Josh, there's no question. I mean, I've been in other parts of the world, and people will say, "Oh, Ocean Drive, you're from Miami." Yeah, we get it. But here's a question I'd like to ask: how much of your business occurs between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.? I mean, is this really a hardship for you to not be serving drinks during those 3 hours?
Well, it's a tremendous hardship, Michael, because they just won't come. They'll go to venues on Washington Avenue, mere feet away from the prohibition zone, where they can spend their evening if they want to spend money. They'll go at 11 o'clock. They're not going to get kicked out like they do now at Mango's and the Clevelander and other venues on Ocean Drive. And then they can just walk over to Washington Avenue, walk over to the Airbnb parties, and walk over to West Avenue where the party is moving to. What they're doing is wrong, because what they should be doing is, if they want to roll the city back to 2 a.m., they should be giving out late hour liquor licenses to venues like Live, like Mint Lounge, like Mango's, like the Clevelander, and those places that have security cameras, off-duty police officers, facilities that can handle late night hours. Those places should stay open, and the places that are causing some of these issues, lose their as of right to do it. But Josh, places like Mango's.
Josh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Josh Wallack, Michael Grieco, I do want you to know our time is cut short today by our breaking news, and we really do appreciate you being with us, and we'll have you back again, as this is an ongoing issue.
Thanks, gentlemen.